this video is a bit different, and if you hear some ambient noise, I'm outside. Notice that I have two swatches pinned here, and they are exactly the same size, but they look radically different. And in the top swatch, which I'm showing you now, this is how ribbing is supposed to look when it's blocked. Ribbing, and if you look at the entry in my blog, should retain its natural texture. And what I've done when I've pinned this is I have pinned the top portion and I've just smooshed the ribbing together. I want to distort it as little as possible because the more I leave it like this, the better it's going to look, and it's going to fulfill its function, which is to pull in at the cuffs, the neck, and at the bottom of the sweater. Now in this swatch, I have blocked it firmly. And when you do this, it no longer ribs. It is a stitch pattern. It's a design element, and it won't fulfill the function of being snug at the wrist, neck, and at the bottom. It will just hang loose. Now that may be what you want. So these are decisions you have to make for yourself when you are working with a knitted piece. If you stretch it, this is what's going to happen. Now this is never, ever, ever going to go back to the way it was. So you need to be careful when you block and think about this. Now the other thing I want you to notice is how I have, see if I can get a clear picture, pinned the edges, the selvage stitches flat. I've used my fingers to kind of smooth them out because this is going to make it easier to seam when I do that. Now I'm going to be using these swatches in my next blog because I'm going to be seaming this edge to something vertical, just to show how if you're using a stitch pattern that has a radically different gauge. And again, notice how this is pulled in. It's not going to have the same stitch gauge as this piece down here where it's been stretched. So I can't treat it the same way. I cannot, if I'm seaming an edge like this, I cannot treat it the same way as I would an edge like this. So you need to think about what you want to do with your fabric. Now, this is also a reason why I block pieces before finishing, so that I have a good idea of what I'm dealing with and how it's going to look. Now for more details about ribbing, because this week's topic is called All About Ribbing, check my blog at orendaholiday, spelled correctly.com. Thanks.